The very first thing I did after being reborn on the day I got trapped in the sea of flames was to sneer coldly as I watched my boyfriend rescue his white moonlight, completely abandoning me to be buried alive in the raging inferno. Everyone thought I was crazy. But I smiled with satisfaction, because in my previous life, I had revealed that I was the hospital director's daughter to secure my future, and that's when he chose to save me. Meanwhile, Liu Ron perished in the flames. Afterwards, he inherited my family's fortune and, without any hesitation, planned to eliminate me while I was pregnant. Facing my desperate pleas, Tuan San smiled softly and said, Cheng Shuo, if it weren't for Liu Ruan, how would you have died so miserably? The pain she endured in the flames, I want you to pay 100 for it. Unexpectedly, when I opened my eyes again, I was reborn on the very day I got trapped in the flames with Liu Ruan. The excruciating pain as the cabinet crushed me fully awakened me. Then from the other side came Liu Ruan's faint voice, Tuan San. Save me. I couldn't believe it as I looked up and saw Tuan San kneeling beside Liu Ruan, panicked as he moved the table, pinning her down. That familiar scene made me realize I had been reborn. At the lab door, my best friend Trisha screamed, Damn it, Tuan-san, have you lost your mind? Save Zhuo first, she's your girlfriend. But Tuan-san refused to look my way, only glancing at me once. Liu Ruan ran outside, and I sneered bitterly. Wasn't he the same in the last life? I'm the one he's supposed to be with. But in his eyes, there's only Liu Ruan. If I hadn't claimed to be the director's daughter, how could he have switched to saving me? Besides being the goddess of the hospital, Liu Ryan was rumored to be the heiress of the Liu Pharmaceutical Company, even though Zhuan San was no longer single. He had long been in love with her. I tried to struggle to get up, but the cabinet crushed my calves tightly. Sharp glass shards tore through my skin, blood pouring out, barely able to move. Only then did Zhuan San truly see me. There wasn't a trace of concern in his eyes, only disgust. Ren is the heiress of Liu Pharmaceutical. If she gets sick, the entire hospital is doomed. I'm doing this for the greater good. Your injuries aren't serious. Once I get Ryan out, I'll come back for you. Hearing that, I only smiled, if not for the fact of being reborn. I might have believed his so-called greater good. I was drenched in blood, yet he said my wounds weren't serious. Chu Shitian tried to rush into the flames without a second thought but was tightly held back by colleagues behind her. Shitian, calm down. The laboratory is full of flammable and explosive materials. It's too dangerous. That's right. From what I remember, this lab will explode in about 15 minutes. Last life, after being saved, I urged everyone to evacuate quickly to ensure our survival. At first, Tuan San wanted to go back for Liu Rong, but seeing the flames growing worse, he finally gave up. So this life, how could I ever believe his promise that he would return for me? Still, I didn't want to drag down those who truly cared about me. I gritted my teeth, bracing myself on the ground, and shouted with all my might, Shitian, don't go in. The place is about to explode. Everyone run. Just hearing an explosion, Tuan San, who was holding Liu Ron and walking step by step toward the exit, froze in disbelief and looked back at me. Shuo, I never realized how cunning you are. If we just waited half an hour, the fire department could have controlled the fire. You say that, but how will your colleagues outside see me? Why don't you learn from Ruan's kindness a bit? He was trying to preach with fake righteousness, which made me laugh bitterly. When he was intimate with me, he never called me cunning. Liu Ruan said softly as she gently tugged Tuan San's sleeve. Tuan San, I feel unwell. At her voice, Tuan San immediately ignored me and tried to comfort her. Ryan, I won't let anything happen to you. Saying no more, he hugged her without even looking back. Using all my strength, I pushed the heavy cabinet away despite bone-searing pain in waves, but compared to what I had suffered last time, this was nothing. Shutian sat down in disbelief. Tuan San, you're a bastard. The director won't forgive you for this. Shutian was the only one in the hospital who knew my identity, yet Tuan San's response to her words was mockery and cruelty. How ridiculous! Ryan was the only heiress of Liu Pharmaceutical. If anything went wrong with her, it was the director who wouldn't forgive me. I forced myself to crawl out from beneath the cabinet through the gap between it and the floor. My thigh was torn open, fresh blood staining me red all over. But I had no time to care. I had to survive. There was no more time. Suddenly, I shouted towards Shutian with all I had left. Don't beg him. Run now. I would never forget the moment Juan-san poured gasoline on me in the previous life. Hatred flashed in his eyes, and he disregarded my cries, paying no mind to the child growing inside me. A flame erupted. I learned over the years that he pinned all of Liu Ron's faults on me. Yet Shutian blindly dashed into the fire. Shuo, keep fighting. The thick smoke made me cough violently. Everything before my eyes blurred, except the small figure of Shutian gleaming clearly through the flames. You're crazy. Get out now. Ignoring my screams, she struggled to lift me halfway up. Step by step, she moved us out of the lab. The scorching hot air singed our skin and even saw her hair catch fire. Though her hair smoked, she seemed not to feel the pain and kept pulling me forward. Seeing her soot-streaked face, my heart tore. I weakly raised my hand to check the time. There wasn't much left. If we didn't get out, we'd both perish here. Taking a deep breath, I steadied myself. I shouted at her, Shutun, wait. On 3, 2, 1, we rush out. Forget about me. Do you hear me? But Shutun didn't look back, replying, keep yelling all you want. I won't let go. Hearing that warmth filled my heart, I stopped talking nonsense. My gaze fixed on the lab door, our hope for survival. With all my strength, I screamed again. Then, without hesitation, I pulled Shutian and charged toward the door. Boom! Almost the moment we rushed out, a deafening explosion rocked my eardrums. The shockwave threw me to the ground. I felt as if I was about to shatter. A white haze filled my vision. Only the endless voice echoed in my mind. Shuo, are you okay? Can you hear me? I don't know how long it took, but Shutian's worried voice gradually reached my ears. I forced my eyes open. I'm fine, just my leg. Seeing this? Shutian followed my gaze. It's not good. Don't look. Just wait here. She ran off in a panic. Soon after, she returned with colleagues carrying a stretcher. Noticing my leg wound, their faces changed drastically. A young male colleague even gasped loudly. Oh my god, how many stitches is this going to take? My whole body ached as if about to fall apart, but I remained conscious. Passing the emergency department, I saw Wan-san. He was gently consoling Liu Ron, utterly forgetting about me. A nurse who usually got along well with me checked my wounds and shook her head sadly. Zhiwang, what have you done to yourself? So many fractures it may take a year to recover. Her voice choked up. Luckily, it's not your right hand. After resting, surgery is still possible. I tried to say something, but the pain stole my voice. The head nurse lowered her voice. That Liu Ruan, they say she only has minor external injuries. Look at Dr. Duan's concern for her and Chu Shutian. Anger flared up instantly. The head nurse pointed directly at Duan-san accusingly. At Duan-san, you're disgusting. Before she finished, Liu Ruan weakly coughed a few times. Duan-san, I'm feeling tired. At this, Duan-san looked heartbroken and comforted her. Ruan, bear with it. The colleagues will be here soon. Then he glared at me and said to Shutian, Isn't Zhou okay now? What does my business with her have to do with you? I stared at Duan-san's repulsive face and said clearly, We're done. Let's break up. Chu Shutian nodded emphatically. Break up is right. What's the point of reasoning with him? All is happiness, all is happiness, all is happiness, all is misery, all is deserved misery. I no longer cared about those messy words. Duan-san froze, seemingly didn't expect me to say that. Zhuo, what do you want to do now? I laughed coldly. Are you jealous? I tried to hold back tears and looked at Liu Ruan behind him. You chose to save another woman over me. Is this the boyfriend you spoke of? Liu Ruan immediately wailed, pretending to be weak. Liu Yu, how can you say that about Duan-san? He only trusts you more because you're better than me. He only chose to save who needed him most. The word descended into chaos. Duan-san's accusations, Liu Ruan's sobs attracting countless curious gazes outside. She was right. She's so fragile, she definitely needs care. Exactly. Dr. Duan is only doing it for everyone. Why is Dr. Song so stubborn? Right, she's the heiress of Liu Pharmaceutical. Saving her is more important. Just then, my father hurried back from abroad. Seeing him, Duan-san's expression changed instantly and rushed to greet the director. The lab exploded just now. I risked my life to save Royin. Liu Royin added, her presence can strengthen cooperation between Liu Pharmaceutical and our hospital. My father's face darkened. Where is Zhiwang? Seeing this, Tuan San assumed the director wanted to assign blame and hurriedly said, "Director, only she and Chuan were in the lab. Ran is definitely not at fault. Chuan must take full responsibility. She has just been saved and is not seriously injured, but I suggest she no longer participates in experiments. Ran can do it alone." My father's expression grew even uglier. Lying in the hospital bed, I silently sneered, "Wait and see how miserable you'll be without Cheng Shuo." Before I could see his face clearly again, my father fell into a coma. When I awakened the next time, it was late afternoon the following day. My limbs were encased in casts and bandages, my shoes bulky and restricting any movement. Yet I felt reborn. Chuo, Shutian approached my bedside, exhausted but unable to hide her excitement. I tried to reach out to her, but the pain shot through my wounds. Seeing this, tears streamed down her face uncontrollably. "Dummy, do you even know how badly you're hurt?" I smiled weakly. "At least I still have this life. This time, I owe Wen San nothing. Neither my father nor I will be hurt by him anymore." Shatun wiped her tears while smiling and said, "I've told your father everything. He's so angry he will hold a meeting tomorrow to assign responsibility." Hearing about the incident and my father, I too couldn't hold back my tears. Last life. "My mistakes hurt my father, Shatun." I tried to calm myself. "I have one more favor to ask. Tell me, what is it?" "Before the lab accident, could you help check the lab's surveillance footage?" Hearing this, Shutian brushed my hair back gently. "Don't worry, I've found someone to check it. There's a minor issue in the middle, but I've already handled it all." I looked at her, overwhelmed with guilt. Last life, I had been deceived by Duan San, thinking Shutian was jealous and antagonistic toward me. We even had a big fight, severing our friendship. In the end, I never got to apologize. Looking back, I realized I had mistaken pearls for clams. Just as I was about to close my eyes to rest, Duan San suddenly appeared behind me. He still had Li Ron with him. Her hair remained perfectly intact. Looking at me wrapped in plaster and unable to move, Shutian took a deep breath and sneered. "The goddess is still safely unscathed, huh?" Tuan San ignored her and stepped forward to grasp my hand. I recoiled in disgust. Not only did he not realize his arrogance, but he also laughed. "Chuo, didn't you say you were fine?" "Oh, Ren said she will strengthen cooperation between Liu Pharmaceutical and our hospital. I'm about to be promoted. Aren't you happy for me?" I couldn't help but laugh coldly. "Happy? I nearly died in the lab. And you want me to be glad?" Liu Ren feigned a sigh and lowered her eyes. "Didn't expect you'd be this selfish. Just out of baseless jealousy, you ruined Duan San's future. Honestly, I despise you." I coldly looked right at her. "Do you know what it means to lose your future?" "Let me tell you, the moment Duan San abandoned saving me, his future was over." Duan San pointed at me, his brows furrowed as if pinching a buck. "Zhang Shuo, Ryan was kind enough to visit you and even wanted to apologize. Now you act like this? Don't forget, I'm your boyfriend. You're ungrateful and cursing me." Looking at him, my disgust deepened. "Duan San, don't forget we've broken up. Get out of my sight." The war grew noisy. Voices outside began to gossip. "Well, Dr. Song is fine now. Let's just move on." What's more important than your boyfriend's future? If it were me, I'd endure some hardship. After all, Dr. Duan has a bright future and will benefit. Hearing this, Shatun turned sharply, pointing at the crowd and shouting, "Stop gossiping. It shouldn't be this way. Tomorrow the director will hold a meeting to investigate. Let's see who ends up responsible." For the first time, Duan San couldn't ignore Shutian and looked at her directly. "What did you say? Investigate the responsibility for what?" Shutian crossed her arms. Glaring at Leroyan, "Yes, who caused the lab incident? Someone knows the truth." Leroyan trembled, her pale face drained of all color. Duan San quickly pulled her close and comforted her gently. "Don't be afraid, Royan. It's okay. I trust you." Leaning on Wen San's chest, she looked pitiful. Duan San said, "You trust me, right? You won't believe those nonsense accusations." That day in the lab, she clearly reminded Shuo. She faltered as if recalling something terrifying, her body shaking uncontrollably as she stammered. I warned her to be careful, but she ignored me and called me nosy. Then the explosion happened. I really tried my best. I really did. Though outside it was quiet and they believed Leron's words, they soon started blaming me. Turns out, it was Dr. Song's mistake that caused the explosion. No wonder Dr. Duan didn't save her. After all, the goddess Liu was innocent. Duan looked at Liu Ruan's weak and helpless appearance, growing even more heartbroken. Anger flared. He turned suddenly, pointing at me and yelling, "Zhang Shuo, you made mistakes and refused to correct them, and now you argue? If you apologize to Ron now, I'll say a few words for you in tomorrow's meeting to save you." Shutian and I exchanged smiles. I retorted, "If you do apologize to me now, I promise I'll leave you some face at tomorrow's meeting." Liu Ruan gave a hollow laugh. "Zhuo, I do all this for your benefit. Why don't you appreciate it?" I didn't want to pay attention to them anymore and rang the nurse bell. The head nurse quickly dispersed the crowd and came in. I pointed at Duan San and Liu Ruan. I remember Dr. Duan and Dr. Liu are not boasting, so why did they abandon their posts like this? The head nurse, already disliking Duan San, confidentially ordered, "Dr. Duan, don't bother Dr. Song anymore. She's been in surgery all night." Duan San saw I wasn't scared at all, glared at me a moment, then angrily grabbed Liu Ruan's hand and left. Shitum looked at me for a long while and said, "I see you've changed." I twitched at the corner of my mouth, unsure whether to laugh bitterly or mock myself. Deceived once, I finally see Duan San's true nature. It's dogs, not people. This awakening cost me dearly. When my father's business is settled, come visit me. He pushed his messy beard aside, clearly worried and exhausted. "Zhuo, your father just left abroad not long ago. How could this happen?" Choking back tears, he gently caressed my bandages, painfully seeing how much older his father had grown, unable to hold back my tears. Last life, my misplaced trust in Duan San caused the Song Hospital to be handed over after decades, losing all its assets. My father couldn't withstand the shock, fell seriously ill, and died shortly after. Duan San stepped on Zong's corpse to rise as a rising star in the medical field. But now my father was still alive. I held his hand tightly, choking. "Shutian must have told you everything. The lab exploded, but that lab was the personal gift you gave me. Why wouldn't I cherish it? It's definitely not my fault." His voice deepened, hoarse, filled with restrained anger. "My dear daughter, rest assured, no matter if she is the heiress of Liu Pharmaceutical or not, I'm not afraid. I won't let you suffer injustice." The next morning, Shutian willed me to the meeting. Don't call it a meeting. It felt more like a general assembly. Duan San and Liu Ruan sat opposite me. Everyone wore faces full of resentment, as if I were the unforgivable criminal. The room was packed with hospital executives. My father sat at the head, pale as a ghost. Seeing me enter, his eyes flashed sharply, then turned serious. "Dr. Liu," he stared at Liu Ruan. Only she and Dr. Song were in the lab at the time. She claimed Dr. Song made the mistake. Trembling, Liu Ruan whispered softly, "Director, you're absolutely right. I warned Dr. Song before." My father slammed the table, making her tremble in fear. "These executives, like grass on the wall, have long been intimidated by Liu Ruan's acting and Liu Pharmaceutical's power. Fine, I'll let this slide. She's the heiress of Liu Pharmaceutical. Making a fuss benefits no one." I admitted, for a moment, I doubted myself, but the doubt lasted only seconds. After all, I had done this experiment hundreds of times. I could do it correctly with my eyes closed. Besides, my project wasn't volatile. Even mistakes shouldn't cause spontaneous combustion. Shutian looked at me reassuringly, a faint smile playing on her lips, and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you only saw the flask spontaneously combust, but not what she did before." There were many devices blocking my movements in front of the flask. The footage only showed the upper half of me. Suddenly, Shutian zoomed in multiple times on the glass cabinet behind my table. On the screen, Liu Ruan sneakily appeared by my table. Taking advantage of my distraction, pouring some unknown chemical into my flask. All in mere seconds, I clenched my fists, barely restraining my anger. My father pointed at Liu Ruan. "Anything to say?" Her face went pale as she collapsed. "It must be a misunderstanding. You, Shutian, edited the footage maliciously, didn't you?" Just then, my father said something and made a call. Suddenly, the meeting room door was pushed open forcefully. His assistant entered, face grim. Up behind him, a dowager's face was ashen. She scanned the room sharply before settling her gaze on Liu Ruan. "Miss Liu, heiress of Liu Pharmaceutical." Hospital executives stood trembling before my father. The director said, "Let's settle this privately." Our hospital can't afford to lose Liu Pharmaceuticals' support. Indeed, the higher-ups have personally arrived. My father sneered, lit a cigarette, exhaling lazily. Mrs. Liu, look closely. Is this really your daughter? Hearing Mrs. Liu, Liu Ron's face darkened further. She hung her head, trembling, unable to meet eyes. The dowager looked at her contemptuously and snorted. My daughter is studying abroad. I've come today to see who dares impersonate my daughter. She grabbed Li Ron's chin, forcing her to look up. She was somewhat beautiful, but how could someone be so cruel? The executives had worried for Liu earlier. Now Liu Ron seemed transformed. Is this a mistake? How dare she deceive our hospital? Such a person belongs in jail. Almost harmed the director's heiress. We refrained. Unbelievable. Tuan San was about to speak but was intimidated by Leroy's glare, stepping back several paces. He barely managed. Leroy, how could you treat Joel like this? To be honest, I just find this man utterly disgusting. So fake. Leroy burst into loud laughter. Tuan San, what right do you have to speak to me? Aren't you enjoying this too? My lies. She pushed the dowager away and pointed at Tuan San, scolding. Ever since you mistook me for Liu Pharmaceuticals' heiress, you've wagged your tail like a dog. Am I wrong? Ha ha ha. Your fake rescue was all for yourself. You're hypocritical but full of treachery. Though I hated Liu Royan, I had to admit she was right. Tuan San was a hypocrite. Everything was clear as day. Police officers in uniform entered, addressing Liu Royan. Miss Liu, you are suspected of intentional injury and fraud. Please come with us. Liu Royan's face drained, faltering as if about to collapse. She looked desperately at Tuan San. Tuan San, save me. But Tuan San coldly turned away as if he didn't know her. Liu Royan collapsed hopelessly like a withering flower. After she was taken away by the police, everyone in the meeting dispersed. Only I, Shutian, and Tuan San stood rooted like logs. Joel, I'm truly sorry I was deceived by Liu Ron too. Tuan San suddenly rushed toward me, face filled with remorse. It was as if the cold stranger earlier wasn't him. Do you believe me? I love you. Pathetic. You should check what kind of person you are. Shutian pushed him back, disgusted, wiping her hands as if she had touched filth. I glared at Tuan San, corner of my mouth curling into a mocking smile. Liu Royan needs dogs, Joel doesn't. Liu Royan's case quickly went to trial. She was sentenced to 1 year in prison and lost her medical license. But after good behavior, she was released early. Tuan San was demoted by my father. Other hospitals refused to hire him. From a somewhat reputable doctor, he became a laughingstock, a street rat everyone wanted to beat. A year later, my health had almost fully recovered. With my father's permission, I returned to work at the hospital. Unexpectedly, on my first day back, I ran into Tuan San. He wore a baseball cap and mask, sneaking into the hospital. Shutian curled her lip in disdain. Does he think dressing like that makes him unrecognizable? I was stunned. Leaning closer, Shutian whispered maliciously, don't you know he has that disease? Our hospital specializes in it, so he has to come here for treatment. Karma's a bitch. I couldn't help but laugh coldly. That disease really suits him. That evening, I went to the parking lot. Tuan San suddenly appeared in front of me. I was startled and instinctively screamed. He hurried to support me. I instinctively dodged and awkwardly scratched my head. I heard from the nurse, you're back. Joel, do you know how long I've been looking for you? We're not broken up. How can you leave me? I took a deep breath, expressionless. I broke up with you a year ago. Don't look for me anymore. Suddenly, Tuan San grabbed my wrist tightly right on an old wound. The pain made me grit my teeth and pull away. He gritted his teeth and pressed harder. Don't Joel follow me to find anyone missing or injured in connection to this incident. If it weren't for your father, I wouldn't be in this situation. Aren't you responsible for me? I laughed coldly. You're ridiculous. A venereal disease and you're talking about responsibility? Have some shame. His face immediately darkened, jealousy and rage mixed, and he raised his hand to strike. Suddenly, a pink pearl slammed hard onto his face. Tuan San, you bastard. I turned around to see Liu Royan. Half a year in prison had stripped away her former beauty. Now her face was full of fury. I just got out and sought you, but you treated me like free chicken. discarded when done, and you sneak here to find that bastard Zhong Shuwang. Tuan San staggered, stunned for a few seconds before pushing her away. Get lost. Have you looked in a mirror? You're exactly like Shuwang. Shuwang is the hospital director's heiress. What are you? Hopeless. I laughed coldly. She shouted, Tuan San, your venereal disease won't last. Remember to come for checkups daily. Don't infect others. What? Li Ron's eyes went wide as she yelled. Unbelievable, Tuan San. You have a venereal disease? Tuan San, you ruined me. They fought fiercely in the parking lot. I didn't care and got in my car, slamming the door and locking it. Those two went crazy. The fight got more intense. I rolled my eyes and messaged the parking security team. Two crazy dogs fighting. Come handle it fast. Just after sending, a loud bang sounded. I looked up to see Leroy collapsed in a pool of blood. Beside her, a car stopped. The driver was stunned, clutching his head, calling to heaven. Tuan San tried to escape but was caught by security. Hospital colleagues swarmed the scene. Leroy died on the spot. She was reportedly 5 weeks pregnant. Tuan San was captured by parking lot surveillance, proving he deliberately pushed Leroy into a moving car. He was finally sentenced for intentional homicide. As a doctor, I knew his disease was incurable. Let him rot slowly in prison for the rest of his life. Serves him right.